Hi guys, this is Mia from Laser Up with MIMODESIGN. Today we are going to learn how to engrave stones. You can make these on any type of laser. Today I'll be using my LaserPecker LP5 as well as my LaserPecker LP2. This one was done by the LP2. This one was the LaserPecker LP5. The little design here I actually got a request to make. So you can find the design for free in LaserPecker's craft zone. If you want to master this, stick around and watch this video. Believe it or not, but these 3 stones are engraved by the same settings. I did, however, change the design a little, so I engraved SVG, an LP file, as well as a picture engraving. So I'll show you all 3 and how to do it. I'll begin with the SVG that I designed and downloaded straight off Canva as an SVG. I only need to set my settings here. These will vary depending what laser you use. The issue with using the SVG is that it will engrave letter by letter. As you might see, this will slow down the engraving process a little bit, but all in all, this design took 6 minutes to engrave, and I actually think it turned out great. It has really good depth in it and just needs cleaning now. Next, I'll show you how you turn our SVG into a full SVG. So I'll go to Combine and choose Union Selection. That way I'll weld the entire design together and I'll hit Fill. So I have the same design now, but instead of a lot of layers, it's just 1 layer. The resolution is 1K, 100% power and 90% depth. So let's place our little stone in the laser here, and I didn't show you this on the previous stone, but you of course want to align your laser so the 2 red dots turns into 1, then your laser is focused and ready to go. It is easier to engrave flat stones than it is to increase curved ones. But this process was a little faster. It only took 3.5 minutes. The depth is almost the same, and I actually think this turned out prettier. Now, what if we engrave this as an image instead of an SVG? I already downloaded this from Canva as a PNG, so I'll just import it into my design space. I'll make it the same size as the SVG, and you do that by dragging the corners. I do see that I have a lot of space overlapping on my design, so I will crop it just a little, so I'm sure that it will be square as the other. But let's delete the original design, and I'll go to Edit, and I'll just hit Auto Cropping. I'll then hit OK, and you can see that it is now square and ready to be aligned on my stone. Since this is a picture, I will go to my engraving layer and I will set my settings again. I still want to use the same settings, which is 100% power and 90% depth. I did start by engraving 1 pass, but I actually ended up doing a 2nd pass to give it just a little more depth. And this is how it turned out. So it is pretty light and it's not as deep, but this only took 50 seconds per pass. So 1.5 minutes in total, which is awesome. Depending on the type of stone you are engraving, you will achieve very different results. Some will engrave dark, like this one. This one actually almost popped up from the stone. I am not a stone expert, so I can't tell you the difference on these. This one engraved white, more or less. So did this one with my little name. These turned out really nice, but also when you are adjusting your settings, this one was engraved with 1 pass. This one I made 2 passes. So the amount of passes and your settings will also make a huge difference. This one was engraved, and actually it was way lighter than this after engraving, but I treated it with oil, which I'll show you in just a second, and it really darkened the engraving on this stone. As you saw in the video, it's also a matter of how you choose your settings. So this one was the SVG, and this is actually pretty deep. You will be cleaning up your stones, which I'll show you in just a second. This one was the SVG version, that I edited in the design space, so it didn't take as long time as the pure SVG. The pure SVG engraved letter by letter, where this one engraved as a whole image. Last but not least, and I'm not sure if it's the stone or because I engraved it as a picture, but this one is way lighter than the other ones. Once you're done engraving, if you rub your finger over this, let's see if I can show you, it will have small pieces of sand. I'm again not a stone expert, but I think that stone might be built from small particles of sand. If you know how they are built, drop a link below. Also, if you know the names of the stone, please also drop a link below. But once you are done engraving, I do recommend that you scratch off this sand layer. So you can use any type of tool for that. I'm just using this little tweezer, and as you see, it will actually take out all these loose stones inside the engraving. Also, by doing this, your engraving will be much deeper. This takes a little time, and I also advise that you do this under your tap in the kitchen or something like that, and you rinse it with water. I'll just show you this quick, and then I will take mine to my kitchen and do the rest of the cleaning. But as you see, it does come off this first layer. Let's see if I can scratch it out, and it is these small sand particles. So I'll clean these up and I'll show you the finished results. I'll just take one of the clovers here so you can see the difference in depth. So the SVG and the LaserPecker version almost engraved the same depth, but this one was faster than engraving the letters individually. The picture version, you can scratch very much off the stone, because with picture engraving you are just kind of marking the surface, which is great for some types of stone. So as you see, there's a huge difference in depth. And these 3 stones were all engraved with the same power and depth. The only difference is the image that I engraved. So again, this was SVG, this was the LP file, and this is a picture engraving. I'll go clean these and I'll see you in a bit. Here you have the finished and cleaned results. So I will say that the SVG that I engraved didn't turn up as nice as the LP version. These are really deep, where the picture version is not as deep. I did take the liberty while these were drying and used my LaserPecker LP2 to engrave my very first stone. This was not cleaned at all. The engraving, it's hard to show you, but it kind of lays on top of the stone, so you can definitely feel this more on the top than you can with the picture engraving and the other engravings from the LP5. I will show you exactly how I engraved this after I'm done showing you how you can darken them, because right now, after I cleaned them, they are really light. Again, it does make a difference what type of stone you are engraving. So a darker stone like this would probably have had a better difference in color, because it is a dark stone, and the stone I've used anyway has a tendency to engrave lighter than the actual stone. So the color difference between dark stone and the light engraving is probably better than a light stone with a too light engraving. But you can enhance these with oil. Also, if you have these deep engravings, you could also go ahead and color fill them. But in all honesty, I really love the way that the LP2 engraved this one. Although it's not deep, the color is amazing, and I do imagine that if you adjusted your settings a little more, you would get a better image for these. This stone did take 10 minutes. Also, the LP2 is a little harder to adjust in focal height than the LP5 is. The LP5, the SVG version, took 6 minutes. This one, after I adjusted it in the LaserPecker Design Studio, only took 3.5 minutes. And the picture engraving was really fast. It only took 50 seconds. I did use 2 passes to see if I could create a little more depth, but 50 seconds is amazing. So you can experiment on your own, of course. But let's show you how to give the stone a little more darkness. So it's really easy. I just use some oil. This is for furnitures and cutting boards and stuff like that. Then you take a cloth of some sort, apply some oil, and you just rub it in. And you might see how the color is already turning darker, because you give some moisture to this unprotected layer that you just engraved. So I'll just do it on this one as well. And the great thing with engraving these stones is that they are free. I found these on the beach. So you can test and try as many as you want, and once you find a type of stone that you like, you can just keep collecting that one. So I'll just rub in the stones here, and I'll leave them to soak in. And that will take a little while, so I'll just leave them here. I could even show you one of the LaserPeckers here. Let's try this one that is a little lighter. So as you see, it does make a huge difference if you just give them a little oil. You can also coat them with a clear coat. If you coat them with a clear coat, you could use acrylic paint or something like that and color fill the engraving. If you want any tips on how to color fill, I do have a lot of tutorials for wood on how to color fill, and the principle is pretty much the same as I would do with a stone. So first you seal it with clear acrylic, and then you use your acrylic paint, make sure it's stuck inside the engraving, and then you take a baby wipe and just wipe off the excess. Easy peasy. But that's pretty much it. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give it a like and please subscribe to my channel. Also, to help boost my algorithms, I would love if you would drop a comment below. You could just type in a heart or something like that if you don't know what to write. And I will show you how I engraved this one on the LaserPecker LP2. On my LP2 I find it easiest to engrave pictures or photos. So I saved my design as a photo and uploaded it into my app, LaserPecker app. And here you can adjust a few things. You can adjust it to pin mode, G-code, grayscale, whatever. I use spin, and then you can turn up and down this bottom line to kind of change the resolution. Once you have your set where you want it to be, you would have to crop the image. I'll just crop it into a square. That way I'm sure it will fit my stone. I changed the resolution to 2K, and you then set the measurements to whatever measurements you need your logo to be. Adjusting the height on your LaserPecker LP2 is way more manual than it is on the LP4 and LP5. So you grab a ruler, or if you have a measure tool, you grab it and you set the height to 110 millimeter, 11 centimeter. And once you have the height, you can go ahead and place your stone where you want it to be. It is easier, as I said, to engrave flat stones. This one is a little curved, but I still think it turned out amazing. Once you're ready, you just type in your settings. I will use the preset settings for stone. I have never engraved a stone before, believe it or not, on my LaserPecker LP2. So this is actually the first time ever that I am trying this. And I will say that I was really surprised at how well it turned out. It might have taken 10 minutes, but this is simply gorgeous. What do you think? Drop a comment below.